Shane, how are you doing this morning, buddy?
Hey, good to be back. Good that it's Friday.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's there's a well needed break in here somewhere, so I'm glad it's Friday. Guys, if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can have your movie news when you need it, where you need it. Also, we have going on right now on the channel a raffle for an Xbox Series X. There's a video up on the channel. Go check it out. Give you lots of more information about all the details about it. But quickly, I'll just tell you, if you send in a super chat during today's show, it will put you in a raffle to win that Xbox Series S. So yeah, definitely do that. Win you an Xbox. Who doesn't want an Xbox? Shane, you want an Xbox, don't you?
Oh yeah,
yeah, for sure. You can super chat for only $1.99. I mean, I'll take a $1.99 Xbox all day
no
long,
kidding, right?
So yeah, make sure you guys go do that.
Oh, and subscribe. We need to get to that 20K.
And we have to hit 20K subscribers to give that Xbox away. So make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button and telling all your friends and families and whatnots. But yeah, with that down, guys, we're gonna jump right into the main show. And how we like to do things around here is we like to kick things off with a few main topics, just movie news, things that's going on today. And then at the end of the show, we like to take any comments or questions that you guys have down in the chat section below. With that said, we are going to jump right in to our first main topic today. And our first main topic today is this. Shane, yesterday, I had the privilege to go out and see Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, finally. And I think it was a solid film. I think it was the best thing Marvel's had to offer so far this year. Honestly, I don't think it's that great. I think the greatness that what is great about it is just held up so much from Chadwick Boseman's passing, if that makes any sense at all, Shane. But that's how I felt. I felt without that great loss. Like, if you'd have told me that this dude just had a disagreement with the studio and he left, so you killed off his character, this movie would have been But because he actually died in real life and it's actually affected me as a human being, I think that part of it played so much into this movie. And I think that was the plan, right? But
I think that's a major part of it. We almost put on Black Panther last night. We're probably going to watch it tonight, and it's because of Chadwick Boseman. It's because of it's in the news. It's a refresher, and it's like, what, if we're not going to see Wakanda Forever, let's at least see Black Panther.
Right, for sure. And it is It is a very emotionally heavy film. The first Black Panther, like I was saying to you, just a few days ago on the show, it's a standalone film. It needs nothing else. It needs no other connections or anything else. And it's a movie. It's a real movie. This is definitely not that. This felt like a Marvel thing. I mean, it really did. The first one feels nothing like that to me. You could tell me again that that's just like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, that it's in its own world and there's no one else there but that T'Challa, and I would believe it. Where this movie felt very connected to a bigger thing, and it had a lot of things to do, to connect those things. And it did them well, but again, what made the movie good to me was the fact that you had this real emotion behind us all that we knew Chadwick, is no longer with us. And as predicted, Shane, they hit us with the funeral right in the beginning. And, it was tough. But yeah, that being said, I have an article pulled up here from Variety. And basically, just in early previews alone, last night on Thursday, Black Panther Wakanda Forever was able to pull in $28 million. Let's see here. Where is it? Okay. Yes. So the original Black Panther took 25 million on it. So it barely beat it out, but this is a big thing because, as I was telling you, Shane, the original Black Panther gained as it went because of word of mouth. But at first that movie was kind of like review bombed and stuff because it was so much black cultural stuff in it that you had all your, racist pigs out in the world that wanted to trash it, of course, because of these things. But as it went on, it just grew and grew and grew. So I think this is a good number. They projected 155 or no, it was 175 to 185 million dollars at the box office. I didn't think it was going to hit that. I said 155, 150, 155, and I still think so. But this is a good look. $28 million. I'm glad it's making this money. Like I was saying before, we went out and seen this. The box office needs it. The theaters need it. They really do. They need to sell many of them $25 popcorn buckets as they can. So I hope more people go out and see it, and I hope that it does have that big success. Black Panther the original had a $202 million opening weekend. So if it could get into that range, that would be awesome. And it should be pre-pandemic. I would say that for sure it would do this, but things are just so different now, and this is the new normal, of course. So that being said, Shane, I know you haven't had a chance to see it, but you're seeing these numbers. Tell me what you're thinking about them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a great score. The first thing I did was I just wanted to compare it to other stuff. And I saw that Black Adam, and that was supposed to bring in a lot of money to the box office. It made less than 27 Friday. Opening Friday.
Yeah.
And Black Panther's already beat that for their Thursday pre-release.
Just one day.
Yeah.
Right.
So we haven't
Not
even
even a
got
real
to Friday.
day.
Not even a real day. I can't find Thursday pre-releases on Box Office Mojo, so I can't compare those.
Sure.
But just to see that it just already wiped out Black Adam.
I think we reported on the channel, and I believe Black Adam's was like 14 million or something, which was big. It really was. I mean, but this is just different, obviously.
And, I hope it definitely should hit that 150 mark. I mean, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness did 187 opening weekend. So you would think it would be on par with that, if not bigger, because of, the passing of Chadwick Boseman.
And it's the end of Phase 4, which I forgot, going into the movie that it is.
So, it's must see. I know that, with Multiverse, there was a lot of rumors, so that brought a lot of people in there. Because, they had to see what was true or not. Where, you don't really get that with this Black Panther. No. And, in fact, I could see really the only excuse that it doesn't make around these same numbers is people maybe not wanting to go into something so heavy during the holidays, to confront death. And, it's already been a pretty tough years, but I hope that doesn't keep people out of the theaters, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, hey, $28 million opening day. Not even, like I said, not even really opening weekend. And again, this is domestic because the truth is, worldwide, this thing's probably going to make like $400 million opening weekend. So it's going to be very successful movie, I'm sure. So hopefully, it domestically though it can bring in those numbers because, like I said, the theaters need it, and if not this, then we would have to rely on Avatar 2
or Knives Out or Glass Onion. Knives Out 2.
Yeah, for a week, a week of Knives Out can hopefully earn like $4 billion. We'd all be blown away if it did do something crazy, though, you know. But that being said, guys, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. Have you guys had a chance to check out Black Panther Wakanda Forever? We also have a open spoiler discussion review that we did last night with me and Lucas on the channel, and that's up if you want to hear more of the spoilery things that goes on in Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever. We don't want to spoil anything here on the regular show, but yeah, so definitely go check that out. And we also did an out of theater review, and check that out too. So if you haven't seen those things, go check them out. And leave your comments down in the or leave some comments down there below and let us know what your thoughts are on Black Panther 2 killing it on the Thursday box office. So yeah, with that being said, guys, we're gonna move on to our second main topic today. And our second main topic today is this. So, grounding around trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to talk about today. It wasn't the biggest news day, but I did come across this article from. Oh, that's not it. Let's see here. Here we go. I did come across this article from the Hollywood Reporter. Or actually, this is from Deadline here. If I could get all these ads off of my screen. Deadline. Ugh. Anyways, you know what? Screw off, Deadline. No more you on Screen Talk Live. But anyways, guys, the long and the short of it is what I want to talk about is Paramount has set dates for a new SpongeBob movie, which is not what I want to talk about. But more importantly, they've set dates for a Aang Avatar movie that looks like it would be Aang, from The Last Airbender, way far in the future. He looks like he has a beard. He looks, 30, 40 years old or something. I didn't get a chance to see what all they had, planned or picked out for this movie. But I seen the release date as 2025, and I thought, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Keep in mind, we've been talking about for literally like 3 or 4 years now, this Netflix series that Netflix is making with the original creators of the original Avatar, The Last Airbender series, live action. And then I think those dudes left, and now they went, and now they're making their own. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. My question is this: is it kind of in the same vein as Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar? Is that, do people care anymore? I mean, I grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Even in high school, I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. But the fact of the matter is, I was in high school over a decade ago. And I haven't seen any Avatar since then, except what the Shamhammer gave us, which is still one of the worst movies ever made. So that being said, with it being this bad taste left in our mouth, and with Netflix having a live action series coming forward soon, these things are clearly not going to be tied into each other and a part of the same world, I would guess, since they're owned by completely separate people. Then isn't this just weird? Isn't it like a for why? That's how it feels to me. Shane, what do you think?
I'm reading this article on IGN. I should have sent you this one. It's got a lot of juicy tidbits. Like it says here that the series creators, Brian, this is of the Netflix series, Konietzko and Michael D. Martino, who stepped away from the Netflix live action adaptation, are on board as producers for this series.
That's what I thought. So they had left the Netflix, went over and started. I remember all that controversy. But
well, it also makes sense too, because I guess there's this new Avatar Studios.
Yes, right.
That was announced last year, and so their whole idea is to create a whole universe like the MCU, right?
Sure, but my question is, why would you do that after just granting the rights to Netflix to make a live-action movie or series?
Maybe they didn't have faith in the Netflix series. I mean, you already have show creators stepping away. Maybe, the thing is, maybe they wanted to dabble and get something going and sign this great deal with Netflix, but as well as I do, I mean, how many seasons you get on Netflix?
Well,
and if you're trying to build a whole universe, maybe you want to get Netflix out of discussion and Paramount Plus, which is where this is going to be at.
I agree, but why sell them the rights, like I said, in the first place? Why?
Money to help maybe get this started. Who knows?
Right, some Stan Lee stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe sell all your best characters off so you can get your B characters in movies. It worked.
Yep.
And he was around to see it work, so good for him. But
you're right. Your other question: do people still care? I don't know. The only thing I never knew about Airbender, or Avatar: The Last Airbender, is we sold the little mini digests at our comic book store, and kids from 8 years old to 14 years old love that.
Yeah,
they were dedicated. So there is a following now. Is it still? I have no idea. Was it based on a TV show that you could watch as a kid?
Yeah, it's a Nickelodeon.
Is that even on anymore?
No, it ended when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It started probably when I was in maybe 7th or 8th grade and ended when I was like a sophomore or junior.
So that means the main core audience is in their 30s.
They're me.
Now. Yeah, right.
So, that's what I said. It was over a decade ago. So and the last thing I had was the M. Night Shyamalan movie, which, like I said, is one of the worst films ever made. So.
Yeah, and even myself, who got a degree in 2D animation, once I hit like 30 and above, it's tough to watch animation.
Yeah, right.
It's just like I don't care anymore.
Yeah, and that original creator shit doesn't always add up. And to give you an example of that, this is a prime example of it, because those two creators, who were the original creators of the Avatar series, who left what Netflix was doing to go create their own thing, and fans like revolted and were like, "Oh, Netflix, you guys are idiots. These guys know because they created it." Yeah, those guys also helped a guy named M. Night Shyamalan make the worst movie ever made.
That's too funny.
So there you go. You never know. They were there the whole time. They just kept looking over at M. Night going,
"You got this." Greatest writer in the world.
Right. So you just never know how that original creator thing goes. Animation does not cross over to film like that all the time. There's rare occasions where it can, but you hardly ever see a guy who, directs an animated movie be able to step in and really direct a movie. It's just such a different thing that you're doing.
It happens, but it's very few.
Yeah, very rare. And vice versa too. But anyways, interesting though. And also the thing that like I said, that really bothered me the most about it was 2025. I feel like this is something that is so far away that it's more like I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing now.
I agree with you on that one. Not only do I think it's too far out, but the fact that you had this announcement for the Netflix series and that kind of is starting to dissolve and up in the air, and what's going on with that? Is that going to be any good? That now you announce this, it just seems like, I don't know. It seems like, they're going a little too soon. Maybe it's, I don't know, some blood feud with the Netflix series and they're trying to get eyeballs away from that.
Yeah, maybe. It does seem like that there could be something going on there. That's for sure. But yeah, guys, if you're hearing this, I know a lot of you guys out there are probably big fans of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. I love Aang. I love Appa. I love Momo. I love everybody in that damn series. So, it's hard to say I wouldn't want more, but they did, Shane, while I can remember, they did make this other series called Korra, which was, I don't even quite remember. Maybe his daughter. It was his daughter, and she was the Avatar now, or something, and like, Aang's in like the first couple episodes, and he's like an old man, and he's like her grandpa, maybe. I can't remember. But all I remember was the same feeling again that I felt when I tried to watch Wings of Power recently. It was just like, wait, so Aang's not in it?
What's going on here?
I don't get, who the hell is Korra? You can't just say, well, that's his daughter, and me now. I'm like, oh, now I love her. No, I don't fucking know. I don't know her. I don't know nothing about it. And I ended up, and I hear great things. Like, everyone I know that's seen it is like, dude, it's just as good as Avatar. And I'm sure it is, but it's just hard to go back to that place without the characters that, brought me there in the first place. But guys, definitely let us know down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on all this. Like I said, with Avatar, the Last Airbender series, what are your thoughts about the release date? What are your thoughts about Netflix's live action series and these guys moving over to do this? Definitely let us know your comments and your thoughts down in the comment section below. Okay, with that down, we are going to move on to our third and final main topic today, which is just more grief. Because this morning when I went on to Twitter to look around for our topics today, I ran into the fact that our buddy, our pal, our Batman, Kevin Conroy, has passed away. And this is really too bad, man. He was only 66 years old. And honestly, Shane, in this world that we live in, I want to say that's young, man. Like I mean, I'm sure he lived a full life. He's Kevin Conroy. But man, in a world that I feel like by the time we start getting to die, that, you know, I believe it's like 74 is the average age for a male in the United States. But for someone in his position, with the money he has in the world he lives in, around surgeon friends and everyone that knows everyone and stuff, people live a lot longer. They tend to than 66. And so to us, it may seem like a lot, but to people in Hollywood, they usually live beyond ages 66 because they have, like I said, they have
access to really good care,
way better stuff than we have access to. But at the end of the day, what killed Kevin Conroy was something that has killed thousands and millions of people that there is no cure for, and that's cancer. And it's too bad. Just like Chadwick Boseman, actually, he fought in silence. We didn't know about Kevin Conroy having cancer, and yeah, it just shows you how strong of a guy he was too, because he didn't want us to feel the pain too that he was feeling, and he didn't want to hear us, you know, saying all these things to him, because he was probably still trying to deal with the fact that it was happening and, you know, come to terms with those things. And the last thing he wanted us doing was telling him how great he was and how much we loved him and we need him and all these things. So I'm glad he was able to be such a big part of my childhood. Shane, we say it often all the time that the Batman animated series, and I think we can still say this confidently, is the greatest version of Batman that's ever existed, right?
Absolutely.
And Kevin Conroy was that. And counter to him was our also getting old buddy, Mark Hamill, right? Who played the Joker. And Mark Hamill went on Twitter today, who is obviously close friends with Kevin Conroy, and had a lot to say. You know, he called him perfection. He called him one of the greatest human beings to ever live. And, you know, I don't obviously have any personal relationship with Kevin Conroy, but he did, and I believe it. I believe Kevin Conroy was one of the greatest human beings to ever live. And like I was telling you, Shane, he was just recently in the CW series. They brought him back, and then there was rumors that he is going to, and now we definitely hope so, right?
Still could.
That he may be in the Flashpoint movie. Maybe at some point it goes animated and Flash has to team up with, you know, Kevin Conroy's Batman. And nothing would be cooler than that, especially now. So yeah, sad day for all of us. Sad day for everyone close to him. Like I said, Mark Hamill, I'm sure he has a wife and children and family. And we all have them here in our hearts, and we're thinking about all of them. And yeah, and we know these kind of things suck, but at least we can be confident in knowing that he leaves behind a pantheon of brilliant, wonderful things for us to go back and check out over and over and over again. I own that Batman animated series on Blu-ray, and it's great. There's a lot of episodes in that thing, and I just roll it right into Batman Beyond. I feel like it's all tied in. But yeah, Shane, you're hearing this. I know you're a big Kevin Conroy fan, and you're a big Batman animated series fan. Tell me what you think, man.
Yeah, like you said, very, very tragic, and yeah, very young. You know, I'm at the age now, I'm 39, and so my parents are 74 and 75. So anytime someone passes that's younger than that, all I can think is they're too young, because I can't imagine losing my parents right now.
Exactly.
So, if they're younger than my parents, like, that's a tragedy for that entire family that has to go through. But you're right. He touched so many people. The Batman animated series, one of the, when that came out, 92, and then, like you said, into, Batman Beyond, that was that golden age of Warner Brothers cartoons. Second golden age, obviously the 40s Looney Tunes era would be the golden age, but that new upcoming golden age of Warner Brothers, because you had those two shows. You also had like Tiny Toons Adventures.
Yeah.
You had a lot of really good shows, and Batman was the crown jewel. I mean, that's what got people, at least like me, tuning in. It felt like something that was written for adults but could be watched for kids.
Yeah,
and as a kid, you really appreciate that. You're tired of people undermining you and not treating you like an adult.
I'm an adult, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was an amazing show, and I mean, even now, you just show me a picture of that square jawline, and I can hear Kevin Conroy's voice just coming out of it. Just that Batman and that Bruce Wayne was just so quintessential. And, honestly, I think it's I'm the Batman that just came out. I used to say Mask of the Phantasm was my favorite Batman film. It's probably this year's The Batman. But I would have to say, though, Kevin Conroy still has the best Batman voice.
Yeah, for sure.
I think everyone just botches the Batman voice.
Well, that's something that I didn't talk enough about in my take, which is, I mean, this dude, and that's what the topic says, are the, I'm sorry, not the topic, the headline today, which is iconic voice actor, because that's really what he was, right? This dude is probably a lot of other things outside of Batman
that we don't
even know about, because he is, that great, and he was such a predominantly, known as a voice actor, and so that's.
Well, I read today he was Juilliard trained, so I can imagine he can do anything and everything at that point, right? So. Very sad, especially, like I said, I was like 9, I think, when that show came out. So I was the perfect age. And, Batman was still seen as something kind of campy. Then you had the Batman movie, the Burton movie come out. And then you had this animated series come out. And that really drew me into the comics. I had to get more Batman. So, I mean, I got to thank the TV show for giving me a direction in life for quite a long time. And,
there was even talk when the Batman was in production of how they would do the suit, and I remember actually talking to you about this, and you were against it completely. But as fans, we wanted so bad for the white eyes.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we wanted that white. I mean, I don't know why, but it's just so iconically Batman to us because of the animated series, right? And so we wanted that so bad, even though it makes no logical sense.
And you want to connect with a live action
for sure,
performer.
the person, right? Right.
Which comes through the eyes. So
of course.
But in animation, you're saving drawings. You're saving animator time. So it's always about scaling back as much as you can. And, that was one of the first TV shows to bring in some CG mixed with 2D, 3D and 2D. You had like the Batmobile was 3D rendered. And, that was really cutting edge for the time. You didn't see a lot of 3D and animated shows, and, they were blending it in almost every episode. And
right. Yeah, I just remember as a kid, like feeling like I learned something every time I watched that show too. And I feel like that, especially as a kid, as weird as it may sound, like as a kid, we crave to know more and to learn more, whether we realize it or not. And so I always found that the things that taught me lessons were something more that I wanted to watch. That's why things like G.I. Joe were popular, the more you know, right? Like as kids, we just wanted to know more. And plus, the debate has always been now since Kevin Conroy's Batman, which has gone on and on even till today with the current Batman, which is, does Batman use guns and does Batman kill and these kind of things. And that's why part of the reason too, I think that that animated Batman, Kevin Conroy's Batman, is the greatest ever, because he was like Superman Batman, right? He was pure-hearted. He was all good.
And he used his mind most of the time.
Yes, for sure. Exactly. He wasn't using guns. He wasn't killing people. He was exactly what you wanted your hero to be.
Yeah, in fact, in the Batman Begins, Nolan's Batman kills Ra's al Ghul, or lets him die, right?
Right.
In the animated, Kevin Conroy carries Ra's back to the labyrinth pit and saves his life.
Heals him.
You know,
Right,
it's completely different Batman.
Exactly. And I think that,
More inspiring Batman, I think.
for
too.
sure. Exactly. Especially, like I said, to young minds too. And I think that it just proves how much this version of Batman meant to us all. All these years later, we're still debating, whether our Batman should kill or should use guns. I mean, Batman in the comics kills all the time, and we don't have that debate. But because of this series, we're like, well, but should he? Because the real Batman is this Batman, right? And that's how we all kind of feel. And it's too bad. Like I said, we all have heavy hearts today. I don't know of anything else, honestly, personally, that I know him from. Do you?
I mean, I could look up some stuff, but nothing off the top of my head. I mean, it's the Batman, right?
For sure.
And
there was also the debate for years too, Shane, that that fans wanted him to play Batman. Like when Nolan was casting and when all these things were casting, they were like, oh, Kevin Conroy. And there was always even some push for Mark Hamill as Joker. And I think that when it could have been brilliant in the right way.
You know, his voice is great, but you never know for sure. Mark Hamill was he played the Trickster, I think is the villain's name, in the Flash TV show in the 90s.
Okay.
And that TV show was pretty campy. It was okay. But Mark Hamill was so good. And when I saw him perform that, I was just like, yeah, he could live action Joker without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's awesome, man. But yeah, so there was always those talks because, again, people loved Kevin Conroy. So I imagine if I was his family and he was my father or my grandfather, on his gravestone would only just say in quotes, I'm Batman. That's it. Because again, he's Batman to us, and I think he always will be. At
least in terms of film, just looking over his IMDb, I mean, it's a few handful of roles where he wasn't Batman or Bruce Wayne or Thomas Wayne or even Alfred, something that's not Batman connected.
Right.
But once you get into the TV, you could tell he was a struggling actor early on. A lot of single episodes, Dynasty, Matlock. You can tell he was gigging. So it wasn't really until Batman that became his bread and butter. And then after that, it looks like everything he did just about was Batman related.
Like I said, on that tombstone, I'm Batman. But yeah, guys, you're hearing this information, this news. Kevin Conroy, longtime voice of Batman, he's dead. He's passed away, 66 years old. Like I said, we all have heavy hearts, and we are here praying for his family, his friends, and his loved ones, and all the people that are going through the grieving process because their father or grandpa or whoever is no longer with them. And we feel for everyone. That stuff sucks, and nobody wants to go through it. But guys, let us know down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this. I know a lot of you guys love that Batman animated series like we do, or the Mask of Phantasm movie, and most of us know Kevin Conroy from this way. So what are you guys' thoughts? How do you guys feel about all this? And hopefully we see him in that Flashpoint movie, right? But yeah, definitely let us know your thoughts down below. Okay, with that down, that is our final main topic today. So we are going to move on to, I think we have a few chat questions. Shane?
Yeah, Lucas Farney off the top wants to know, will there be a Black Panther 3?
I mean, I would have to assume so, right? I mean, yeah.
How about this? How long until the next Black Panther 3? Black Panther 1 came out 2019, right? So 3 years? Do we get another Black Panther 3
2027.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What is it today? It'll be 2023.
That's almost 5 years.
2026.
Okay. So about 4 years?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
3 years, I guess, would be from 2023, which is around the corner, right? So,
yeah, the first one came out in 2019, 2021, 22. So it's been 3 years. So I think this one will be around 3 or 4 years probably. But there definitely has to be another one because the way they ended it, right? We won't go into that and spoil anything. And then, yeah, my just like I said in the open or out of theater review, my hopes is if they do that Shuri's Black Panther, man. I thought she was a badass Black Panther. I really did. I thought Letitia Wright killed it. I thought she brought a lot of emotion to the character in a way that T'Challa didn't. Actually, it was a perfect thing because T'Challa, Shane, brings this like humble, you know, almost like a priest kind of,
very stoic.
Yes, right. And then her cousin Killmonger, when he had taken the throne, he was, you know, as you know,
angry, rage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But neither one of them had traits of the other, where Shuri is kind of like dead in the middle. I mean, she's furious and she's full of rage and vengeance, but at the same time she's able to pull back in a moment, you know, and be like her brother and understand that, hey, you know, I'm not a killer or I'm not this or that, you know, that I come from a place of good and stuff like that, where, you know, Killmonger is obviously incapable of doing that. And T'Challa was over capable. He was doing it too much, you know. He let Von Zemo or whatever his name, Zemo, go in Civil War, right? At the very end, he spends the whole movie hunting him down for vengeance, and then he's just like, "You go away now," right? And that's because he is so much, like I said, he is so much like that priest way of that.
He sees the good in everybody.
Yes, for sure. Where
and hopes for the best.
Where she is, like I said, a perfect medium, I think. And she's just badass. Like, I don't know what it is, but I think the girl physique in that Black Panther suit looks awesome, man. I was telling Lucas, like, I wish they would have had a Shuri Black Panther statue. I may have would have got that instead.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I think she makes a good Black Panther. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but a female Black Panther makes sense. It works for Catwoman.
Well, how was she in the comics as Black Panther?
You know, it was, you know, I only read a few. I think I only read the miniseries, so 6 issues or something like that. But, you know, it's kind of tough to base it on a drawing because a drawing always looks kick-ass.
No, I mean, like, how was she temperamentally? Like, was she more...
That sounds about right. Yeah. You know, T'Challa's brother was definitely the antithesis of that, so she was definitely more quick to action, not anger,
plus
but
super intelligent. Was she like that in the comics?
The whole family was. I mean,
sure,
yeah. So you mean she makes a perfect leader, and to me, it would make sense you keep her as Black Panther.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think also
there's not enough female heroes in the Marvel U anyway.
Right,
I mean, you got
or
Black Widow,
and now you gotta have a Black female lead character that I'm telling you right now here that I like. And I don't see why. I know that they're. Again, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I know that there will be another Black Panther that is a man at some point down the road. But I feel like we don't need to jump into that.
I agree.
I feel like to have one movie where Shuri is the Black Panther and it's just her Black Panther movie would be completely acceptable. And I think I would honestly look forward to it more than I would if you told me, you know,
they're battling for the crown again.
Or whatever. Yeah, anything, honestly. So, yeah, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I thought it was a perfect balance for the character. And I thought the performance that Letitia Wright gave was amazing. Shane, do you know who Angela Bassett is?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Angela Bassett, I promise you, I guarantee you money. I will bet every dollar I have she will be nominated for an Academy Award for the performance she put on in this film.
She was always my wife's and I go-to for Storm. We wanted her to play Storm forever.
Don't say that.
She still can. She still can. Even at her age, she could still do it.
She could.
You're right.
Yes,
she's an amazing performer.
Man,
and if she gets recognition for this role, that's fantastic.
But man, I'll tell you what, every second that she's on screen you feel it to your core. She is a mother. I don't know if she's a mother in real life, but I assume she would have to be in order to portray the feelings and emotion that she did. And it was heavy. And then, at some point, Letitia Wright's performance then becomes that, and she carries the rest of the movie and has that same feeling. But you really get to see the difference between a real seasoned veteran actor or actress that is really amazing and someone who's young and really talented and amazing, because they are both great in their own right. But man, there's just a difference, and when you see them side by side, it's very evident.
I think actors. They're people just like anyone else. So, I like to compare actors a lot of time to athletes. And there's a lot of times when like a certain, stud young QB is around a veteran QB that their talents become better, because just watching the veteran in action. I think acting is the exact same way. You hear stories all the time on sets.
Aaron Rodgers under Favre.
There you go.
I mean, there's lots of examples.
And you hear the same thing on movie sets. I'll never forget, there was a interview with Tom Cruise's a few years ago that he was talking about the most growth he ever had as an actor was when he worked with Paul Newman in Color of Money. And that's one of my very favorite movies. And Paul Newman is amazing. And it makes sense. You're around this veteran who's been nominated many times for Academy Award. You know exactly how you see them, how they prepare and how they get into the role, and you learn from them.
Right, or back to Kobe with the Redeem Team.
Exactly, absolutely.
Like you said later on, that after watching that, you don't think LeBron would be the LeBron that we know.
Not at all.
If Kobe wasn't on that Redeem Team. And I think that there's some truth to that, and that's a perfect example of it, right? Where you see you think you're great, and you have lots of potential, but when you're standing next to greatness is when you really understand that there's levels to it and that you're not quite there yet. And that's really what I'm trying to say is what it felt like, because I don't want to say, compare their performances to each other and say one was better or not, because they were both outstanding performances, but the only difference between them was one was very seasoned. One was, like I said, I doubt Letitia Wright even has children. I don't think she has. Where this felt like a mother, it felt like a woman who's endured
and
a
knows
lot.
How to tap into those emotions to come out on screen.
For sure, yeah, for sure. And it was, like I said, it was definitely Academy level, man.
And going back to this point too, Jesse Bailey just dropped in and said Favre hated Rodgers. And I'd have to say that I think everyone hates Aaron Rodgers. How can you like that guy?
Rodgers hated Favre.
And does anyone like Aaron Rodgers?
Look,
besides Aaron Rodgers?
Look, and just to be frank and clear, nobody likes their replacement, bro. Nobody likes the dude that I'm training to replace me. Like, eat a dick. I don't care how young and good he is. I'm still Brett Favre, and I'm not gonna teach this dude to take my job one day. So screw him. And plus, a team mentality. You're fighting for that spot on a roster, right? Aaron Rodgers could have went into any of those off seasons and beat Favre out for that starting QB position, and Favre knew that. So at the end of the day, of course he wasn't gonna what's his name again?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, right? They didn't like each other. I mean, they were
competitors.
They were meant to be. One was meant to be the other's replacement, and one was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, at the time at least. I feel like today we don't talk about Favre like that anymore.
Well, he's also we now know he's a scumbag too.
Yeah, well, I kind of always felt that about him.
I didn't know he was robbing from
immediately
kids.
when he started doing those Levi jeans commercials, I was like, this dude's a fucking...
Well, I think he just scammed a bunch of schools.
Yeah,
recently.
right. Yeah,
just
I know.
The worst thing you could ever do. And
I know. But even before that, once he retired, I feel like we never talked about him as if he was one of the greats. But I remember when he was
playing,
it was like he's one of the greatest of all time. It was like him or Peyton Manning.
If you ask John Madden, he'd still be like,
hey, man, I remember watching him all the time, and I hated Brett Favre. And every time I would be forced to watch him because one of my best friends loved the Packers and Favre, I would just be in awe. He was so good. He really was. He was really good. But yeah, it's similar to that. But yeah, moving on. What else do we got?
Yeah. Did you watch Shyamalan's Avatar movie?
Okay, I did watch it. In fact, I keep saying one of the worst movies made of all time, and that is what everyone says, and I agree to it to an extent. I will say this. I went back and watched it again, probably literally like 2 years during the pandemic, so within the last 2 or 3 years. And this time I was not I'm a grown-ass man now, and I could kind of give a damn. And I thought it was all right. I thought, yeah, you know what? That's not bad. I remember watching it as a kid thinking, this is all wrong, and that isn't that, and that shouldn't be that. And
you were seeing it through a fan's eyes.
But I was such a diehard fan that I think I could only see it that way. And now as an adult, and like I said, I don't give a damn. Watching it, I thought, you know what? This isn't that bad. And what did we expect? Especially as a guy who does this now, right? Who has some understanding about film and how it works and adaptations or adaptations. And there wasn't a lot you could do, and he was just trying to do what he could best to honor the story. And I feel like he was doing that to an extent. But yeah, it's still... the biggest hate that movie takes is that a lot of the castings were white people playing like non-white people.
Yeah.
You know, like Aang isn't white. He's like an Asian, kid. And they cast like this little white kid, and people
whitewashing it.
Yeah, and that was the big term actually for it. And honestly, at the time, even then, and I still think I could really give a damn about any of that as long as the movie's good. And it just wasn't good enough for you to overlook anything bad that it could have been doing. That's for sure. But I wanted to like it. Shane, have you ever checked it out?
I've never seen it. I didn't want to see it. And then when I heard all the bad buzz, it was like, yeah. I promised myself by the time that movie came out that I'd never see another M. Night Shyamalan movie. I guess that's going to change this year, though, or next year, right?
Well, you got to watch old still, man.
I still do. But I would have to say one movie that it kind of reminds me of that when it came out, I absolutely hated it. People said it was one of the worst movies ever. And then you kind of talked it up recently. So I just watched this week the 98 Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
And it was even worse than I remember it. It is definitely one of the worst movies. So my question is, Avatar Last Airbender versus 98 Godzilla, which is worse?
Okay, so like 98 Godzilla, Avatar, Pulp Fiction. No, I'm joking.
What an ale.
I was joking. Listen, 98 Godzilla, when I seen that movie, I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I remember like it being so cool to me. So it's such a big part of my childhood.
But you've seen both of those recently as an adult. Which one would you sit down? If I was like, hey, you got to watch one of those right now, which one are you putting on?
If you were making me watch one, Godzilla.
Okay, there we go. That's all I need to know.
But I would say this, one note on the Shamhammer Avatar that also doesn't get talked about enough because the movie wasn't great, was the CG that's in it is really good. Like, and I know that could matter none to most people, but at the time, I think it was like 2012 or 10, man, it looked awesome. I remember even when I just told you, I went back and rewatched a new version of Avatar, and even then I was like, this doesn't hold up. But rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender, I was like, damn, this looks like it was made recently. I mean,
what wasn't like 2012 versus Avatar,
was
James
08,
Cameron,
07.
So, yeah, I guess.
They started making it in the 90s, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I definitely did see Cameron's Avatar, but not Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, for sure. They're often confused when you just say Avatar.
Yeah, and it looks like here's the second part of this question. What was the worst part of M. Night's Avatar: The Last Airbender movie?
I mean, to me, the worst part was just the feeling. Yeah, I don't feel like it had. To me, Avatar: The Last Airbender has this kind of childlike innocence feeling to it, like Aang, right? He's just so happy-go-lucky. He could just stumble into some shit because he's just fa la 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 la. I'm just wanting to help people and stuff, and I think, but he's the Avatar, right? Which is so great because, like, of anyone and that's why his character is so dynamic. Because,
what is the Avatar? Could you explain that real quick?
So the Avatar, so in the world of Avatar, The Last Airbender, there's what's called benders, and they can either, there's four things. There's water, air, earth, and fire. And you can bend one of or the other.
Which means?
You could use
manipulate it.
Yes,
okay,
for sure.
Cool.
You could use it to throw at people or to burn stuff or to whatever. In the water tribes, the water people are in small tribes, kind of like Indians, and they're able to use it to move their boats quicker or this and that. They use their stuff for good. The fire people are kind of like Nazis in a way. They're trying to take over the whole world, and it's hard to stop fire. And they've killed all the airbenders in the process of doing so. And Aang is the last airbender, but he happens to be the Avatar. And the Avatar is someone who's born like every 100 or 200 years, and they're the only one person on the planet that can be master of all four elements at once. And because of this, nobody can even get close to beating the Avatar, no matter how well you've mastered your single individual thing. For example, like if you're the greatest fire lord ever, it doesn't matter if you're fighting a dude that can, is the greatest water bender ever. And now you add to the fact that he's a good firebender and an earthbender, and and it makes it real difficult. So the job of the Avatar has always been to keep balance. Well, Aang happened to get, when the air people told him, hey, you're the Avatar and you can't be a kid anymore and you have all these things you have to do, he ran away from home because he didn't want that. He wanted to be like his friends. He wanted to play and just be a normal kid, right? And when he ran away from home, he kind of got Captain America. He got put in an ice glacier, and he was frozen for 100 years. And over that 100 years, there was no Avatar on the planet to keep balance. And because of it, the Fire Nation took over, and they've killed every airbender. But they didn't know Aang was alive.
That's a lot of guilt he must carry around.
It is. But again, what's so amazing about it, like I said, and makes the character so dynamic, is that he is the strongest and most powerful thing on the planet. But he's a child still, and all he wants to do is just help people. And there's no better person to do it than the Avatar, and his whole goal is to restore balance to the planet, and yeah, it's a really deep series, and it's awesome. I mean, just what I told you right there sounds cool, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. So it has a ton of potential, but it just has to be done right. The worst part of the M. Night Shyamalan movie was it didn't have that feel. It felt too serious. And at that time, I feel like everything was trying to go that route. Man of Steel came out around that time, and so many other things that were trying to take themselves, I think, a little too more serious or real or grounded or whatever you want to call it. And it didn't have that childlike sense of wonder that I knew Aang for. So that's what I would probably say that it was the worst part of M. Night's Avatar movie.
Do you think that every successful animated show or movie or whatever needs a live action counterpoint to it? Yeah,
no way.
And it seems like those fail. You had the Dragon Ball Z one. Yeah, right. A couple of those, I think.
Speaking of worst movies ever made, now that if you think that M. Night Shyamalan is one of the worst movies ever made, watch that freaking pile of shit.
I tried because it had Chow Yun Fat in it, and I love Chow Yun Fat.
I try because I want to love Dragon Ball Z and all things Dragon Ball Z, but I mean that movie is really, really god awful. It is like Japanese made or something, I believe, or whatever. So, and it was a long time ago, but that killed it off. I mean, they haven't tried to make a Dragon Ball Z live action thing since, and that was.
But they did did the Avatar. Didn't they do a One Piece live action?
They're working on it right now.
They're working on it now.
They did Cowboy Bebop, series.
That didn't do well.
Yep, they did Death Note.
Yep, there you go.
That didn't do well.
So yeah, anytime you're an anime, maybe just stick to the.
I mean, even recently they did the Pokemon movie, which is the biggest intellectual property in the world. Yeah,
really, I didn't know that. How did that come out?
And it sucked, man. It's a good. Oh God, back to watching movies when you're a diehard fan. Look, for me. Do you know anything about Pokemon?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I think I remember you telling me this, or maybe it was the animated movie. That's right. You were telling me about the animated movie.
About how it touched me and all that. Yeah. No, this.
With Pikachu.
Okay, exactly. So that key goes into this live action movie with those expectations. And the characters I know, Ash and Pikachu and all, they're not even in the movie.
So why are you watching it?
I don't know. Yeah. I wanted to leave the whole time I was there, but sadly I had rode with somebody, so I was forced to sit through it. And it's not a bad movie. I rewatched it, literally a year or two ago, and I'm like, you know what, it's all right. Yeah. If you're a kid, like if my daughter was 10 and I showed her this, she'd be like, sweet, I love Pokemon now, and I want to know more, and I'd be like, cool,
but
kind of like how the prequels are for you in Star Wars. Like you look at me and you're like, you know what? I'm glad it got a little key into Star Wars.
There you go.
But God, I hate those movies. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
How do you give me a Pokemon movie without the characters?
Pikachu or Ash?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
was the professor in it?
I said no. Professor Oak. Nope. The whole thing the whole thing about Pokemon to me was the relationship between Ash and Pikachu.
Yeah, because it was unique.
It's right. It's exactly right.
Because he wasn't just a Pokemon trainer. They were family.
But instead, you dumb it down. You make Ryan Reynolds Pikachu, and he's more like Deadpool Chew or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he's just like a...
Doesn't Pikachu just say like simple words?
Yeah. Like this,
Chew,
Shane. Pika.
Yeah, right?
Pikachu.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
These are his limited vocabulary.
But Ryan Reynolds has like
full blown,
monologues.
just like, oh no, my butt's itching and da-da-da, like just all this shit. Like being my popcorn's done, and like he's just like Deadpool.
This was written in a conference room.
Yes.
With a bunch of people. It's like, what do families like?
Just Ryan Reynolds. Pikachu. Right. Yeah, it sucked, man. In that sense, I will say this: it was amazing and beautiful to see, because it's all mainly CG. But we're at a point where it's so good looking that it's like, wow, this is actually kind of cool just to see these characters
Pikachu now
brought
rendered,
to life. Yeah, for
and
sure.
fur, the actual fur, texture.
Right. That's awesome. But I mean, give me again. I go back to. I'm gonna do this for years. I promise you. You will go back and view these videos years from now, and you still hear me say, "Give me Sonic, man.
Yeah.
Give me you want to give me video games or."
And it looks like Jesse Bailey's punking on Sonic, and I gotta say, I enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog. Really, I mean, I watched it twice. I liked it that much.
Yeah, I thought Sonic was awesome.
Yeah, and I think maybe too, my expectations were really, really low.
Yeah, they're low. You know why? Because as we say often, there's only 3 guarantees in life, and that's death, taxes, and video game movies suck.
Yeah.
All of them. Name a good one.
Yeah,
you can't. In fact, if you start
Sonic
naming
the
them, you're going to be
Hedgehog.
like, oh my God, that's bad. Oh my God, that's bad. It just gets bad. And then you get Sonic and you're like, hey, you know what? This is a win, and this is probably how you do it. The other thing about the Sonic movie is they made that movie for like $40 million.
Oh, really? That was it?
Yeah. Well, they had to like
go back.
Yeah. So it might have ended up being like double that or whatever, but it wasn't a lot. Where the Pokemon movie, that was a $200 million. They're spending Avengers level money. That is the biggest intellectual property on the face of the planet. It should have made $1 billion in its sleep.
You're right.
And it made like $400 million.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Right. And it's been
I also think that Sonic worked well because of the live action performers. Jim Carrey, is it James Marsden? Is that
James Marsden? The lead.
I mean, both of those guys were great in it. I think that they propped up Sonic. If it was just a Sonic movie and those guys weren't in it, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much.
Yeah, probably not. But they were there, and it did make the movie good to me.
I'm just watching him next week. The last season of Dead to Me comes out, and so we were rewatching that, and James Marsden's in that, and he's so good in that. He plays two different characters.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the end of Sonic 2, but from what I've seen so far, I thought it was good too.
Yeah, I like Sonic 2, and Knuckles.
A lot of my friends, like Lucas, thinks that it's better than the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but it was really enjoyable, and the guy who played Knuckles was really good. That was a great addition.
Idris Elba.
There you go.
Yeah, of course
addition.
He's good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, what else do we got?
It looks like our last question is favorite animated Batman episode.
Ooh, man, that's tough. I haven't thought about this in years. Honestly, if I know it's not an episode, but if you're gonna make me pick something like that, I'm gonna have to go with Mask of the Phantasm because
it's kind of like an episode,
right? It was more like it. I had it on VHS. And I remember watching it over and over again. I probably watched it more than any of the other episodes of the animated series I watched. What about you, Shane? What do you think?
I'm going to have to go with the episode where Harvey Dent turns into Two-Face. It's like a two-parter. I love that episode because, at first you get to deal with Harvey Dent dealing with this other, anger that's inside of him, which was so realistic. You didn't get a lot of that in kids' cartoons. And then at the end of the episode, he has that change due to the acid, and then he comes back as this, gangster villain, Two-Face. So I thought that was super cool because you usually never got to see the transformation of a villain. They just show up.
Yeah, right.
And so I remember seeing already
the Riddler.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I remember, Robert Dent. Wait, what's his name?
Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
I think I said Richard Dent, which is a Chicago Bear. Harvey Dent. Too many names. So Harvey Dent was in the TV shows before. I think that happens in the first or second season. So there's a good amount of episodes that Harvey Dent just is the district attorney. So watching as a kid, I was like, oh my God, this guy's Two-Face? What happened here? So it was a complete shock, first of all, to see a minor character turn into a villain.
Sure.
And then also to see that, again, I'm a young kid, to see that villains come from somewhere. That, Harvey Dent was actually kind of a good guy.
Good guy, right.
People,
yeah,
and,
sure, right.
it was very, a big life lesson.
Yeah, because you probably at that time just almost didn't view villains as people.
Yeah,
right?
Not at all. Yeah, exactly. They're caricatures. They're twisting their mustaches.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're almost like aliens from other planets that are here to take over. Kinda,
exactly. They only exist because the hero exists.
Right.
But Harvey Dent was the first one to teach me that anybody could be a villain. You just have a bad day, and then all of a sudden, this happens. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that episode. I don't have the episode name.
And
memorized.
Jesse, we do not like Transformers, and I never checked out the Street Fighter movie.
I'm glad he mentioned that because him saying Street Fighter, which is an awful movie, Jesse. I don't mind it that much, but I can tell how old he is because he was probably 13 when that movie came out, and we all have blinders when it comes to nostalgia. We talk about that.
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat movie for me is a perfect example.
Yeah, and I even grew up with that, and I can still admit that movie's trash. And same with Street Fighter. That movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme, so bad. But if I got nothing better to do, and it's like 1 a.m. on a Saturday night,
and
I can watch Street Fighter.
Right.
I can watch, and there's a lot of really bad movies of that quality I will never watch again. But there is that nostalgia to it, where it's like,
All right, it looks like that's all the questions, but I did want to bring up one other thing before we get out of here. Early this morning, my wife hasn't been feeling good, so she was having trouble sleeping, so I had to stay up late watching her daughter and doing stuff, so my schedule got all messed up, and I had to get up at like 5 o'clock because I couldn't sleep, so I'm up, and I get on HBO Max, and I see on there is Don't Worry, Darling. And I know you probably don't know what this is, but this is Olivia Wilde. You know who Olivia Wilde is, the actress?
Maybe.
Okay.
She play Wonder Woman?
No.
Okay.
She directed, she had her directorial debut in 2019, a movie called Booksmart, which I keep telling you, Shane, and I promise you, you will not regret it. You have to see Booksmart. It is with Jonah Hill's sister.
I didn't even know he had a sister.
Yes, and she is like the girl version of Jonah Hill, and it is a girl version of Superbad. It's exactly like that, but better.
Oh, wow.
Like
Whoa.
direct wise, the cinematography wise. I mean, Superbad's still kind of in a way like meant to be kind of made in a certain way. This is over the top. It's as if they, brought in someone really big to direct Superbad. Like, why would you even do that? But this is like that, and it was her debut, and I thought it was amazing. This is her second film. Lots of controversy behind it. It's like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Originally, they had cast Shia LaBeouf. He left. She says she fired him. He comes out on a video on YouTube's like, that bitch didn't fire me. I walked out because she doesn't know how to run a set and be a director and all this, and she wants to fuck her cast and this and that, and then there became this big controversy.
Some drama. They should make a movie about that.
Right, and she brought in Harry Styles, which is one of the handsome kids from One Direction, who is now in his late 20s, and One Direction is like a boy band.
Okay.
So she brings in this kid. She starts having a sexual relationship with him.
So Shia was kind of right.
That comes out. Chris Pine is in the movie. I don't know if you know who that is.
Probably
but
not.
At some point there was rumors that Harry Styles spat in Chris Pine's face because something to do with all of this.
Is the movie any good? Is it worth watching?
So because of all of that, I decided, I'm going to take a pass on this. So I hadn't watched it. But yes, this morning, got on there, checked it out. Shane, you must watch this movie.
Really?
This movie is awesome. It's not,
but it's enjoyable.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Oh my God. It was very, I hate saying it, but it was very Twin Peaks season 3 and kind of WandaVision-y. So basically you got this lady, she's played by Florence Pugh. I know don't know who she is, but amazing performance, wonderful performance. And she is kind of in this 1950s. What do you call those places where they would set up for bombings?
Oh, bomb shelter?
No, not the shelters, but where they were testing.
Like the bunkers?
They'd have like houses and fake people in them and stuff. Yeah, it was kind of one of those like fake communities. She's kind of like in a place like that, and it kind of feels like WandaVision, like, why is she here? What's going on? And there's these little things happening that you're like, what the hell? What does that mean? And I think for you personally, Shane, it probably wraps it up with a bow too nice at the end. But I could care less about that as long as it isn't too like, what the hell, for me at the end, then I'm good. It ended well though. It all wrapped up. It all made sense. And yeah, I enjoyed it, man.
Did it come out this year?
Yeah, it did.
I'll watch it this weekend and we can talk about it Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I would like to. So yeah, for sure. And we
can
talk about it.
Did you see the trailer for the new Judd Apatow? It's already streaming. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I didn't even hear about it.
What's it called?
Under the radar. I don't remember. It looked like trash. I watched the trailer. So it's about Hollywood during the pandemic, or I think they're in Australia, but they're filming a movie. And so everything's locked down and, everybody's, it's a lot of hand sanitizer jokes and stuff like that. The bubble.
Oh my God. Yeah. All I want to say is I know nothing of this movie.
Other than a lot of really good actors.
All I needed to know was just seeing that little square of it to know
not for you.
Not a good movie.
It did not look good. I didn't laugh
the
once.
The bubble with slime all around and shit. I mean, it's on like a green screen. It looks...
Yeah, it's a very CG movie because they can't interact with large groups because, it's the
21% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, sounds right.
Man, don't worry, darling, or whatever. Like I said, it's like a 31%. Audience, though, is like a 78 or something. That's fair. I think that it's just a 78, 80s movie. But definitely worth the watch, man. The performances are, like I said, awesome. And just the story keeps you...
enthralled.
Yeah.
It's coming back for more.
And definitely got a lot of that just like unsettling kind of feeling. I love that. I don't know why I crave that feeling so much, but
because it's difficult to pull off, and when they do,
right, and it's kind of hard to understand what's making you feel that way sometimes. Lynch does it all the time, where something completely kind of normal-ish is happening, yet you feel it. Like it's like, wait, why? How is he doing this to me?
Sometimes that's the most unsettling. As he cuts to something normal, and you're like, I can't handle this.
right. Especially when he does the thing where he'll go from something like completely abnormal to something normal, and you're like, wait, we can't just. What are you doing to me? Hey, right? Yeah. It had a lot of those kind of feels to it, and like I said, very well acted. Even Harry Styles, who, you know, from a dude from a boy band, you know, I thought he was great. I did feel that feeling as if this character was written for Shia LaBeouf, though.
Yeah.
Like, I could kind of feel it. There was this kind of...
Shia would have just fucked.
Right? Come on, man. Olivia Wilde's a good-looking chick, Shia. What are you doing out there? But yeah, and it's too bad, all the controversy. You know, someone else, another film pundit that we know on YouTube, was also saying that what they gathered the most out of this whole thing was, I can't wait for the documentary.
Right? Someone needs to make a movie about
or the
this.
biopic of like how that all went down, right?
Who plays Olivia Wilde?
Olivia Wilde.
There we go.
She plays a role in the movie too.
Okay.
And I thought that was funny, but I guess it makes sense. She doesn't play anything in Booksmart, so I didn't expect her to be in it. I will say this: Booksmart is definitely like an A+ movie. Like if you're making me pick between the two, that you got to see one, you got to see Booksmart, dude.
Well, I'll see this one because we can talk about it soon.
Yes,
and then I'll go
sure.
back and watch
for
Booksmart.
sure. But yeah, and I don't want you to not want to watch books. You know, the part that pisses me off about this movie the most is Barbarian. That's what pisses me the most off. Because Barbarian's a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. What the hell's going on in the world?
Well, it's because you pick thumbs up or thumbs down. And when you did that to me, I gave it a thumbs up because I didn't think it was thumbs down.
I know.
So when you give it a black and white, when nothing in this world is black and white, this is what you get.
Yeah, it's too bad. But yeah, I think that's, to me, it's things like that that make the system seem like they could be broken. When you see a movie like this that's obviously good. And you know, I haven't went on there and checked to see what people didn't like about Don't Worry Darling, but I know that a lot of the early even negative reviews were around you know, that shit. It's kind of like the newest Secrets of Dumbledore, Harry Potter movie. Like, immediately the people even critics, like real critics, Shane, were like, oh, I didn't like it because J.K. Rowling said, and what?
Now,
What the fuck
let's give Roman Polanski another Oscar.
Right? What the hell does any of this got to do with the movie, man?
It's so funny how hypocritical they'll be because, you know, like Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, people have no problem showering these guys with rewards.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, J.K. Rowling says something on Twitter.
Right. That's it.
Yeah,
we're done.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, you know, wrong or right. I'm just saying it's funny how inconsistent it is.
Well, yeah, that's the world we live in, that cancel culture type of thing, where it's you know, it's a lot of that, what Eddie Murphy used to say back in the day, what have you done for me lately, Eddie? Eddie.
He's right, though.
What have you done for me lately, Eddie?
And we're in such a short time, you know, just left my brain. You know,
our attention spans are so short now more than ever, right? Because there's so much things. So I would say all the time with movies, when people try to bring up like, you know, Gone with the Wind being really the biggest movie ever, or these things, and I'll be like, yeah, but Gone with the Wind didn't compete with PS3s or PS5s and Xbox and internet and amusement parks and so many other options.
Well, and they re-released that film so many times. I think it made more money the second and third re-release than it did the first time it came out.
Right, for sure. But yeah, still a movie I've never seen. Like, all the way. I've seen like pieces.
I've never seen it either.
Every time I caught it, it was on TV, and I would watch it for a little bit, and then I remember like just clicking info and going, "Oh, 4 hours? Nah."
Yeah, you know, and I'm a huge Clark Gable fan too, and I've never seen it. Yeah. And some of the stuff that I've seen from it, Vivian Lee's spectacular, and she's spectacular in Streetcar Named Desire. So I think it's probably the length that has me scared to watch it as well.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It looks like Jesse's seen the bubble. He said bubble is throw up.
Yeah, I assume so. It looked really bad.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for today. I appreciate you guys all joining in here and giving us chats and questions and things to talk about. As always, that's the funnest part of the show. Guys, don't forget, we're giving away a goddamn Xbox on this.
Series S.
this channel. Send a super chat. Give you a chance to win this Xbox. Jesse, you got a kid. You want to win an Xbox for your kids. Everyone wants to win an Xbox. Send us in a super chat during a live show, guys, and that gives you a chance to enter in to win that Xbox. Don't forget to go check out the channel, video on the channel, too, for more information about all that. Guys, again, thank you for joining us on the show today. We will be back on Monday. Maybe if I get time this weekend at some point, we'll do a little thing or something. I don't know, but probably not. I need to break. So we'll probably be back Monday. At 5 o'clock Eastern as normal. I will be here joined again as I was today by my friend Shane Wallace. Shane, where can people find you at?
At Planet Wallace over on Twitter, and I'm so active. Definitely reach out.
Yeah, let me. But bam, you're no longer Lucas Farney.
Oh, have I been Lucas Farney all day? Oh my God.
You're at Planet Wallace now.
I'm Shane Wallace, by the way.
Yeah, this is Shane Wallace, and that's where you guys can find him at. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter. And of course, I'm Keith Toothman. You can follow me right down there on my handle at Keaton Toothman at Twitter as well. Guys, again, we appreciate you guys being here. We will see you guys tomorrow. Monday. And go out and see Black Panther. Let us know on Monday. Be ready to come back on Monday and let us know all your guys' thoughts and stuff on that. And it looks like me and Shane will be talking about Don't Worry, Darling. So if you guys have a chance to go check that out, definitely go check it out too. So yeah, we will see you guys on Monday.